Hey everybody, it's Catherine, and first things first, I'm the realist, and I wasn't going to do this video, but you all responded really well to my previous video, which was basically how to get good grades and be successful in high school. So if you want to watch that video, along with my junior year advice video, please do so first, because I think a lot of the information in this video either is going to overlap, or I'm just not going to talk about some things that are important because I've already talked about them before in just my overall kind of academic success videos. But I did decide to do this video because I think the college process turned out decently well for me, and if you clicked on this video hoping to see where I decided to go to school, that will be included. I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk enough in this video to make it into a few different segments, so there will be multiple parts to this video, and I think I'm going to release where I'm going on the last one just because that's most appropriate, because the last video will be talking about, you know, how to choose. I'm going to try to do this in sort of a chronological order. And then a college Q&A will be part of this series. So if you have any questions as I'm going through the video, things you don't know if I'm going to cover but you want me to, please leave them in the comments below. And then also on the next few videos do so as well. That way I can have a good amount to choose from. But just overall, do your research for the college process, make it fun. You're probably not going to get a lot of guidance from your high school. For me, I didn't get a lot of guidance, so hopefully this covers some things that you might not have known. I'm going to try to approach this video as if you are a senior that knows kind of the basics of the college process but wants to know like the ins and outs, like the good secrets that you can get by on. I did not actually see the value in a college counselor, but if you get really concerned by watching this video and you don't think you can handle it, definitely if you are okay with investing that money with your parents, go for it, because they're really good at keeping you on track. But if you're self-motivated and you want to make this process work for you, like, you're already on a good path as it is. Alright, so testing. And I think this is something that really gets associated with the college process a lot, and it's something that I don't actually think about that much anymore. Like, after you're done with the testing, you really don't concern yourself with it that much. So I'm going to try to bring back as much as I can about it, but like, it's not that it was traumatic or anything, but it's just I don't like keep that like locked in my memory bank, because like the skills you need for the SAT and the ACT aren't really skills that you need in general. So, you know, learn them and make it good, but at the end of the day, it's like this isn't something you're going to need to know actually. So if you're not too good at that, it's not going to affect you like that much in the long run. But the first exposure you're going to get to testing will probably be the PSAT, and that would be in the fall of your junior year. I'm pretty sure PSAT is normal for all students. I will say I scored decently well. I think I definitely was above 200, which it's scored out of 240, so it's just a tenth of the SAT scale of 2400. I didn't really study for it. I ended up doing, and I'll get into this a little bit more, I did a prep course in the summer before my junior year. That way you have a little bit of exposure to it. But the benefit of the PSAT is that it can get you scholarships. You can be a National Merit finalist. I think I was National Merit Commended Scholar, and that was probably this third tier down of they do it just by, you know, a percentile of kids who scored in that range. So I was the third tier down of ranges, and it basically just ended up in me getting free donuts and a little luncheon with my peers that scored similarly as me. So it didn't end up in anything. Even if you're a National Merit finalist, there are only a select number of schools that will actually offer scholarships. My school had an assembly or a senior awards night, and everyone that was a finalist went up on stage, and it was something like 40 kids. And then it showed the kids that were using that scholarship, their schools gave them a scholarship for that, and it was 4. So out of a group of 40 kids, only 4 actually benefited from scoring well in the PSAT. So my moral of the story is don't worry about it that much. I can tell you definitely that you can improve your score from the PSAT. It's not something that you're going to be stuck with that score. So don't worry about it too much. But yeah, if you do want to study for it and prepare for it because you think you can get into the range that you'll be a scholar, go for it. But yeah, test prep over the summer. I definitely encourage you to do some sort of class. That way, you know, even if you think you're motivated, it's still good to have some sort of routine. I think I just had a 2 or 3 week class. It was through Revolution Prep. and they'll probably give you a booklet, and then every day they'll go through some like kind of mindsets you're supposed to be in when you're doing test prep. I'm not going to really go into this kind of specific detail about how to test, just because I think it's stuff that's readily available online, as is most of the information kind of I'm going to be telling you. So if you want test prep, like, really just Google it. And I'm going to have like 4 different college resources, college application resources linked in the down bar. So definitely check that out. But otherwise, if you can afford it, buy a book. Buy Princeton Review or Barron's or the normal ACT book. And self-review, but taking courses is easy. I wouldn't go overboard. I wouldn't take more than 2 sessions of a course, because I just don't. I think it definitely boosted my score for the SAT, sorry. I did not take a course for the ACT just because it's more intuitive. But the SAT definitely boosted my score a good like 200 points, and it wasn't even that I was trying that hard. It was just sitting down in the test room for 4 hours and doing it without any help. That is what you need to get settled. Like, you need to get your time frame of what it feels like to be in that mode settled. That way when you get to the test itself, you don't have to worry about like, oh, do I have enough time? And you can actually just focus on how you need to approach the problems and everything. And if you're not sure like what kind of stuff you should try, ask around to your friends. Where I live in California, it's kind of a culture where people really get into and buy into college prep stuff, so they'll do a bunch of different courses. People will tell you what they liked, if they had a private tutor, if they had some sort of ACT, SAT hybrid class, if they did over the summer, if they did in the winter. Just check out what they like to do and see if you can get into some of their classes. And then as far as scheduling when to do the tests, the SAT is available every month, and I think the ACT is available every other month. And you're of course going to take them junior or senior year. So I would advise, what worked best for me was taking your SAT in the fall of your junior year. I took mine like November. That way I had time to like settle into school, and then I also had time to kind of get prepped for the test. So you sit down and take it November, maybe December, January even, and then once you get that score back in a few weeks, decide for yourself, like, is that sufficient? Look at some schools you would like to consider. Look at their 25th to 75th percentile. That'll just tell you their middle 50th percentile of students they accepted. What was the bottom score? What was the top score? And you want to be like, you know, in the center there, or, you know, closer to the top if you can, above the top even. So check out for that kind of stuff. You know, just gauge what you feel like. If that's an accomplishment for you and it was really hard for you to, you know, get into the mindset of doing tests, don't take it again. But if you do want to take it again, you're now left with 2 options. You've taken the SAT once, and now you can either take the SAT again, or you can take the ACT. And for me, I wanted to try the ACT just to see if that would just yield a better score automatically. For me, I got a 2160 my first time on the SAT, which definitely could have served me in my college process. I didn't end up sending that score because I did take the ACT in June. For that, I really just took the big prep book. It had 5 tests, and I sat myself down for those 3 or 4 hours, no distractions, no music, with a timer, and really did it and pretended like I was in the testing mode. And that is so crucial. Like, don't jerk yourself around. Don't, you know, do half of it, go take a break, watch some TV. Don't do that, because that really helps you a lot. If you can just get into the mode of what you'll actually be doing, that's better prep than like anything, because it's basically not even prep. It's like you're just doing the test a lot of times. So I did that. I took like a bunch of practice tests, took it in June. Ended up getting a 35, which was really, really exciting. I actually opened the email while I was in Austria, and it was really just like unbelievable that basically 35 is like either, you know, high 2200, maybe low 2300 if you just convert them. And colleges will take either score. There's no rumor about, like, if there is a rumor about, you know, colleges like look at the SAT, you know, like it's a harder test than the ACT. Don't listen to that, just take whatever you want. So obviously from that I could tell, okay, you know, automatically my score was like 200 points higher just from taking the ACT without any really additional money spent on test prep. So I was like, okay, I'm done. But from there, if the ACT was harder for you or just kind of the same, either you can say, okay, you know, if my score is kind of just stagnant, then I don't really need to take it again. Or you can go back, throw yourself into studying for the SAT or the ACT, whichever one you think you can improve on. And I would say, like, realistically, I've seen people improve on the SAT more than the ACT. So if you really prep for the SAT a lot, I would say take SAT fall junior year, ACT spring to summer of junior year, and then retake in the fall of senior year. But that's just not a good burden to have on your shoulders if you really have to take it in the senior year, just because you're already doing like a bunch of other college prep stuff, and it's nice to have those scores because now you can really look at your colleges and say, okay, I am not in the range for, you know, Princeton. But I'm perfect for the range of, you know, BU or Northeastern or something. So then you can actually get your college list set up preliminarily, like not actually like a solid list, but you know, you can get kind of a good range of, you know, what your goals will be. And then also SAT 2s are something you should consider. Those are the subject tests, and more schools are making those optional, but if you can do it and you're not going to freak out too much by taking those on, I would say do it. I did them. I took 3 in one sitting. You can just go in. I took them in June. It was a week apart from the ACT, but I was out of school, so I had time to sit down and like just do the prep books. And for those, I didn't do classes. My teachers kind of prepared me pretty well, and then I took Math 2, Bio E, and Spanish, just language. And so I just got a book for Bio. And Math, I just did like online prep, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then I just took the tests, and I would say like a competitive score would be anything above like 600, but like like 650 probably. If you got above 700, like definitely send it. You can kind of Google around, see what, you know, other people are getting for the colleges you want to go into for those subject tests, but you don't have to take them all on the same day. You can take Math 2 your junior year if you're prepared for math. It's not, you know, through calculus, it's just through like algebra and trig, I want to say. So if you're ready for that, take that early. If you want to take chem after you take the course, if you want to take bio after you take the course, whatever works for you, just really look at all the subject tests and see which ones you want to do, and usually send in about 2 to 3. I think 2 is usually the normal number, but for Georgetown, for me, I had to send in 3, so I made sure I had all those covered. And taking 3 in one session, like, usually isn't advisable, but for me, it worked out perfectly, so, like, you can definitely do it.